A major traffic project in Athens may take longer and cost more than expected. Community members compete to see who can lose the most weight. And in sports, Ohio men's basketball hopes to rebound with a MAC win. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Good evening, I'm Steven Hernandez. Thanks for joining us. The Richland Avenue passageway that is being built this summer will take longer and cost more to build. Director of Public Works Robert D. Hetty asked Athens City Council last night for the budget to be increased by roughly $400,000 and the timeline be extended from 90 to 147 days. These changes were made after several contracting companies told Hetty the job could not be done in 90 days. Hetty says he hopes to find a company for the job by March 4th in order to keep on track with the new timeline. Stuart, Ohio's Federal Valley Resource Center is hosting the Biggest Loser competition to see who can lose the most weight. First weigh-ins were last night, with the contest set to last into next month. Faith Laughlin is a senior at Federal Hocking High School in Stuart. She's been losing weight as part of her senior project, which she needs to graduate, and says that this competition is helping her keep up the good work.
Trying to continue to lose weight and shape up myself, before the showcase night for the senior projects. So since I'm doing that anyway, I thought, why not join this, this group of people that are also trying to lose weight and see if I can also get some money out of it.
With $500 set aside so far for the winner. Weigh-ins will be held every Monday until completion next month from 5:30 to 6:30. There's an update in the abduction case. Police located the woman abducted by father of a child. Both Skylar Williams and her abductor, Terrell Pounds, were found dead. The current relationship status of the two is unknown. Their child was safe with the family when the abduction occurred. The Ohio University Police Department received a report of unwanted sexual conduct from a female student at Perking Residence Hall on Friday. The report came in just before 4 p.m. The report states that the unwanted sexual conduct came from a known suspect last semester.
Welcome to Newswatch Weather Center. I'm your forecaster, Cameron Sliga, and we're going to check out the headlines for you today. And it's rain, rain, rain. That's what it's been the past few days, and that's what it's continued on into today. We also have a flood watch that is in effect until 8 p.m. tonight, and we will see that being expired soon. Right now in Athens, 49, windy at times with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. We're seeing showers and west wind at 10 miles per hour with gusts higher at times. We look at the region, 49 in Athens, 50 in Marietta. Up in Columbus, we see a temperature of 43. 49 down over in Cambridge. Down in Ironton, we are seeing 50 with rain all throughout the area. As we check out our precipcast currently, we see the low is moving over with the cold front that will be moving its way through the area, bringing those gusty winds and the rain showers with it. Tune into my full weather for much more on this weather system. Over to you, Stephen.
Thanks for the weather update, Cameron. Nearly 270,000 voters who were removed from voting rolls last month will be getting new voter registration cards. Secretary of State Frank LaRosa's office says these voters were removed last January when they did not respond to a last chance notice. The notice was sent by previous Secretary of State John Houston. An Ohio hospital that has been under investigation is losing another employee. Janet Whitey was the chief pharmacy officer at Mount Carmel West in Columbus. The hospital is reviewing allegations that employees ordered, approved, and administered possibly fatal doses of pain medication for dozens of patients. Mount Carmel Health System won't say whether Whitey's departure was voluntary or forced. The so-called heartbeat bill is being proposed again in the Ohio legislature. The measure would ban abortion once a fetal heartbeat is detected. Similar bills approved by lawmakers were vetoed twice by former Governor John Kasich. New Governor Mike DeWine has encouraged supporters of the bill, saying he would sign it. Colleagues in West Virginia could permit guns on campus. lawmakers are listening to public comments about proposed legislation that would require colleges to permit concealed weapons. The House Judiciary Committee held a public hearing yesterday. Concord police officer David Eldridge says his department would have to hire 13 more officers and purchase metal detectors, costing more than $700,000 in the first year. Art Thom, a lobbyist for the National Rifle Association, says the bill empowers the people to protect themselves. The verdict is back in the case of notorious drug kingpin Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. Guzman was found guilty on all charges for his actions while running the Sinaloa cartel. Camila Bernal is outside the courtroom with more.
56 witnesses and 200 hours of testimony, the jury decided Joaquin El Chapo Guzman's fate and found him guilty. According to witnesses, Guzman ordered multiple executions, engaged in bribery, and even committed murder. The jury heard wiretaps and saw text messages provided by a technical analyst that Guzman hired to insert spyware on his associates' phones. Witnesses also testified the cartel used tunnels and even submarines to smuggle tons of drugs into the U.S. Even El Chapo's lawyer said millions in bribes were paid to former Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto, who denied receiving money from El Chapo. All of it shedding light on the massive operating capability of the Sinaloa cartel. Guzman is notorious for his prison escapes from Mexican facilities, once in 2001 and another time in 2015. As a result of this raid, he was recaptured in 2016 by Mexican authorities and extradited to the United States to face federal charges. One of the most high-profile drug cases in U.S. history is now over. Guzman is expected to be sentenced to life. In New York, I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
Guzman was extradited to the U.S. in 2017. His charges were consolidated from 6 federal jurisdictions across the country, including New York, Chicago, and Miami. Representative Ilhan Omar is apologizing for anti-Semitic statements. The Democratic Congresswoman faced condemnation after suggesting money fuels Republican support for Israel. Omar wrote in a statement, quote, "Anti-Semitism is real, and I am grateful for Jewish allies and colleagues who are educating me on the painful history of anti-Semitic tropes," end quote. She received backlash from both sides of the aisle.
This is unacceptable, and there's no place for it in our caucus or our country or our Congress.
Their leadership is wrong for not standing up to it. There's situations in our conference where a member does something that is wrong. I think you've seen from my own actions that I take action about it.
Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi released a statement. She says Congresswoman Omar's use of anti-Semitic tropes and prejudicial accusations about Israel's supporters is deeply offensive. Coming up, with the government shutdown on the horizon, President Trump is not happy with most recent Congress deals. That story when Newswatch returns.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
Well, if you love TVC basketball action as much as we do, well then we got the show for you, Hardwood Heroes. Come along with us as we will be breaking down all the action every week. It airs Sundays at 11 p.m. and again Mondays at 6 p.m. But remember, our coverage isn't just limited to the show. We have content being posted all week long on our Twitter, Facebook, and even Snapchat. We also have written recaps posted on our webpage and video recaps on our YouTube channel. So check those out as well. And always remember to be heroic.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
With just 2 days to go before a crucial government funding deadline, President Trump isn't happy with the bipartisan compromise on border security just struck on Capitol Hill. But he also says he's weighing some options in terms of how to fund his proposed border wall. Karen Kaifa has the latest from Washington.
The answer is no, I'm not. I'm not happy.
President Trump not pleased with the current border security funding deal, but not entirely rejecting the idea of signing it.
I don't think you're going to see a shutdown.
On Monday night, after a weekend impasse, Top Hill negotiators said they'd reached a compromise.
We reached an agreement in principle,
but one that falls well short of President Trump's $5.7 billion ask for a border wall, and also shy of funds proposed in a Senate package last year. The bipartisan agreement includes, among other items, $1.375 billion for barrier funding, prohibiting the use of concrete walls to cover roughly 55 miles of new barrier.
This is a compromise. No one got everything they wanted.
The goal now, get legislation moving through Congress.
I look forward to reviewing the full text as soon as possible and hope the Senate can act on this legislation in short order.
Even if he does sign off on the bill to avoid another government shutdown, President Trump hinted he's looking at other options for the border wall funds.
We're building the wall, and we're using other methods other than this, and in addition to this.
That could include executive orders or the declaration of a national emergency, actions that will likely prompt legal challenges. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
President Trump and Congress have until Friday to come to an agreement, or else the federal government will enter another shutdown. The FDA is cracking down on dietary supplements. That story is still ahead.
Currently, we're seeing rain, but for how long? Also, we have a new flood warning to talk about after the break. But first, here's a look at your stocks of local interest.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Well, if you love TVC basketball action as much as we do, well then we got the show for you. Hardwood Heroes. Come along with us as we will be breaking down all the action every week. It airs Sundays at 11 p.m. and again Mondays at 6 p.m. But remember, our coverage isn't just limited to the show. We have content being posted all week long on our Twitter, Facebook, and even Snapchat. We also have written recaps posted on our webpage and video recaps on our YouTube channel. So check those out as well. And always remember to be heroic.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
A coastal community in Louisiana is being washed away. Every hour of every day, a piece of the state about the size of a football field slips into the sea. So far, rising water and erosion caused by climate change has wiped out about 98% of the town. The federal government is spending millions of dollars to get families to move out of the area. According to one estimate from the United Nations, between 50 and 200 million people will be displaced by climate change by the year 2050.
Thank you. And we have a new aerial flood warning to warn you about in Meigs, Perry, Washington, Gallia, Jackson, Morgan, Athens, Vinton, Lawrence, Mason, and Wood counties are all under an aerial flood warning until 3:15 a.m. tomorrow morning for small streams and urban areas. But we'll take a look now at your almanac. 57 today is your high, 30 your low, about 10 above normal and right around normal for the low today. As we see, the record is 79 set in 1932 with a -2 set in 1981. And we are going to see some, tonight we're going to see 30 degrees, rain early, gusty winds. We'll start to see a transition though into some more wintry mix overnight with a west wind of 15 to 20 miles per hour with winds that are going to go gusting up into the 30s. As we check out your overnight lows, 26 New Lexington, 30 in Athens, 31 down in Ripley, as we're going to start to see some wintry mix moving on into the area as that last batch of rain started to move out. We see overnight 40 at 8 p.m. We're going to start to see by midnight get down to 33 degrees with a 60% chance of a wintry mix. And then by 4 a.m., we're going to start to see the temperature drop all the way down to 30 degrees with a chance of snow, but not too much that's going to ruin your day for tomorrow. We'll see the low right here moving through the area tonight, bringing with it a wintry mix into the area, and then we're going to start to see some clearing as the night moves on, and we're going to start to see some winds increase on in through the night and chance of gusty winds. So at the bus stop, we're going to see 30 degrees also with a chance of snow and gusty winds. So you're not going to need an umbrella this time. You're going to need a winter coat as those winds are going to be gusting up into the 30s with a west wind of 15 to 20 miles per hour. We're going to check out your morning commute, 31 down to 30 and by 9 a.m. 30 with a 20% chance by 9 a.m. as we see that the snow chances start to taper off. And tomorrow we're going to see 37, clouds breaking, chance of snow early with winds west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. We're going to see gusts up to 30. That's why we have a wind advisory for wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour. As we check out tomorrow, temperatures in the mid 30s, 37 in Athens, Ripley, 39. We're going to start to see some clouds breaking though as we go throughout the day tomorrow. And you see that right here as that precip starts to move off tomorrow, and we're going to start to see some clearing, but we're going to again see those really windy or gusty winds tomorrow. As we check out your 7-day forecast, we're going to start off Wednesday 37, and by Thursday we're going to get up to 52, but after that we're going to start to see another system move through, dropping us down into the upper 40s, and then by the weekend we have a chance of seeing snow on Saturday and Sunday with temps in the upper 30s. To start your work week off, we're going to see some partly cloudy skies with temperatures getting down into the 30s and upper 30s by Tuesday. Back to you, Stephen.
Thanks, Cameron. It's a $40 billion industry that the vast majority of Americans participate in. But what's behind all those grand claims made by your dietary supplements you're taking? In today's Health Minute, Meredith Wood explains what the FDA is doing to rein in some of those marketing campaigns.
The FDA is cracking down on dietary supplements that are marketed as, quote, cures or treatments or preventatives for serious illnesses like Alzheimer's, diabetes, and cancer. The FDA commissioner says they will be rolling out new enforcement strategies and a new rapid response tool to alert the public of safety issues with a product. Dietary supplements are not reviewed by the FDA before they hit the shelves, but the agency will get involved if they are deemed unsafe or carry misleading claims. A study in October found that nearly 800 of these products sold between 2007 and 2016 contained unapproved drug ingredients. 20% of those included at least one unapproved pharmaceutical ingredient. About 3/4 of Americans take dietary supplements regularly, contributing to a massive $40 billion industry. For today's Health Minute, I'm Meredith Wood.
The number of high schoolers using e-cigarettes is rising. A new report by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention says the number jumped by 8% from 2017 to 2018. The report linked the increase to the popularity of Juul, a type of e-cigarette that uses flavored nicotine pods. Juul says they're committed to fighting underage use of vaping products and support raising the minimum age to 21. An Ohio teen is speaking out after a post he wrote about vaccines went viral. Ethan Lindenberger shared in a popular Reddit post about 2 months ago that his parents, quote, think vaccines are some kind of government scheme, end quote. He says that he had never been vaccinated for anything until recently. Against objections from his parents, he went out to get vaccinated for the first time after turning 18.
I sat down with them and I said, this is the evidence I have, and I presented it as best I could. And they didn't agree. And once I turned 18, I said, even though we disagree still, I'm going to pursue vaccinations. And as we, worked around that, obviously it wasn't just immediately understood or immediately, got across them that I was doing it for my own safety and the safety of others.
In a Reddit post, Lindenberger called his parents, quote, kind of stupid, end quote, for their opposition to vaccines. But he described their conversations about his decision as civil.
Hello everybody, I'm Brian Kerp. We have some softball news in February. Find out which Ohio softball players received weekly recognition later on. And right after the break, the Ohio men's basketball team is looking to get back in the win column tonight. A preview of the action is coming up next on Newswatch. And be sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
A box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
Well, if you love TVC basketball action as much as we do, well then we got the show for you. Hardwood Heroes. Come along with us as we will be breaking down all the action every week. It airs Sundays at 11 p.m. and again Mondays at 6 p.m. But remember, our coverage isn't just limited to the show. We have content being posted all week long on our Twitter, Facebook, and even Snapchat. We will also have written recaps posted on our webpage and video recaps on our YouTube channel. So check those out as well. And always remember to be heroic.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Welcome back, I'm Brian Kerp. The Ohio men's basketball team is having a difficult time in conference play. They look to find a win column tonight as they will be tipping off against Eastern Michigan in just under 10 minutes from inside the convo. The Bobcats are 3-7 in conference play, while the Eagles are 4-6. Both teams average about 70 points per game. EMU is led by Paul Jackson and Elijah Minnie. Both are averaging about 14 points per game. For Ohio, Jason Carter is averaging about 16 points per game. The two teams seem to match up well on paper, so Ohio has the opportunity to grab a W at home.
We just want the next win. That's it. We haven't been looking at the score, at the leader, at the conference leaders a whole lot lately at the standings. We're just trying to get the next win right now.
There are only a handful of conference games left. After tonight, the Bobcats only have 7 games remaining. Their home games include Bowling Green and Buffalo, the top 2 teams in the MAC East Division. The Miami Redhawks also visit the Convo the last weekend of the season. The Bobcats will also face the Buffalo Bulls on the road, as well as trips to Central Michigan and Kent State, as well as Akron. The Bobcats have some work to do if they want to get a higher seed in the MAC tournament, but you never know in college basketball. Now over to the women's East Division standings. The Bobcats essentially control their own destiny. They are at the top of the whole conference. Like the men's team, the women's team also has 7 conference games remaining, 3 of which are at home. Western Michigan, Buffalo, and Bowling Green will visit the Convo. The Cats will visit Toledo tomorrow night, Kent State next Saturday, and Akron and Miami in early March. If the season ended today, Ohio, Miami, Buffalo, and Central Michigan would have the top 4 seeds and an automatic bid to Cleveland for the MAC tournament. As I mentioned earlier, the Bobcats travel up north to Toledo to face the Rockets tomorrow night. Toledo is currently 14-7 with a 6-4 conference record. The Rockets' leading scorer is Kayla McIntyre. She averages 15.5 points per game. As a team, the Rockets average scoring about 67 points per game, while only giving up about 60 points per game. They will face the best offense in the MAC. The Bobcats average over 82 points per game and have 5 players that average double-figure point totals. But it's going to be a challenging road game for the Bobcats.
Well, they're good. They put good players on the floor. They kind of grind it out. They're going to have 4,000 or 5,000 people there, which is unique for a MAC game. And it just they just won a lot of home games for whatever reason. I think Trish does a great job of coaching them.
It's only February, but it's never too early to talk about some softball. That's because the Ohio softball team has started playing games. There are a few players that already got some recognition after 1 week. Senior Morgan Gino was named the MAC Co-Player of the Week this past weekend. Gino had a .563 batting average with 1 home run and 7 RBIs. Additionally, sophomore outfielder Allie Englund was named the College Sports Madness MAC Player of the Week. So far this season, she's hitting .550 with 3 RBIs and 3 stolen bases. I'm Brian Kerp, and that's it for sports. Back over to you, Stephen.
Thanks, Brian. A 1,000-pound tiger was found trapped in the garage of an abandoned home in Houston, Texas. The animal was reported to local police by a citizen who was entering the home to smoke marijuana. Police questioned the caller to make sure that there was really a tiger in the house and that it wasn't just an effect from the drugs. The tiger was living in terrible conditions, but is now being moved to Houston's Bark Animal Shelter.
Thank you. And we are going to start to see some temperatures moving down and getting colder, but we will start to see these showers and rain showers start to move off as we start to look at this midweek forecast. And by tomorrow in the afternoon, we're going to start to see temperatures in the upper 30s. And Thursday, look at that, 52 and partly cloudy, no rain finally. As we check out the 7-day forecast, we see by this weekend, though, we're going to have a rain system move through, bringing snow and temperatures down into the upper 30s and 30s to Monday. Back to you, Stephen.
Thanks, Cameron. That does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching.